What's up, guys? Hey, welcome to the drive again. Not gonna be as long today, I'm afraid. Which some of you might be saying, thank you, Jesus. I didn't get coffee this morning, so I just got out of Starbucks. I'm dragging, man. It is. When you have not much sleep, 6 children that all love to keep you up as much as possible, it's coffee is needed, and when it's not in the house, it's scary. Anyways, I was debating whether or not to even do something, but you know what? It's good to be consistent. And I did have this thought today. I've been listening to this podcast, the Joe Rogan podcast, which I love because he talks to some really interesting people and gets really deep conversations out of them. Especially, I love the ones where he talks to political people or the entertainment industry people. And I was listening this morning, and he gets to interview Edward Snowden. Snowden calls in. It's crazy. I don't know how they pulled that off. But it just got me thinking, like, it's about security and, like, the way people will make crazy decisions in the name of feeling safe instead of the right decisions. And, you know, I voted Republican my whole life, but I don't consider myself Republican. I just don't agree with anything the Democrats do. But I would say that, you know, one thing is that the Bush administration with Cheney and them, when they expanded surveillance in response to 9/11, they overreached. And that's a lot of the stuff Snowden was talking about, and it's all true. So, I mean, that's not a political point. It just is what it is. And it's been used ever since. You know, the Obamas used it. I believe Trump still uses that stuff, and it's fine. It's like when the right person's in power, we trust them, right? But then the wrong person can be in power. But the point is that now innocent people get spied on, and they have all of our stuff, and it's just crazy. And you know, Bill Johnson a couple weeks ago in his sermon was saying that, like, most mental illness comes from people needing to feel secure, like trying to find that safety and stuff they can't find it in, and it drives them crazy. It brings about anxiety and fear, and that's, you know, that's a true statement, and I believe that. And I've noticed in my life that all the least healthy times of my life have been when I've tried to avoid hard things. And that is actually always harder and more miserable than actually doing the hard thing. And that's like, you know, that's biblical. It's biblical that we're supposed to trust God, that He'll meet us in the hard things to overcome them, not to avoid the hard things. And so I was thinking about security this morning, and how our need or our desire for it gets us in trouble. And if you think about it politically, like, if when people are fully secure, not in Jesus, but in their systems, it leads to corruption. It leads to lack of innovation because people are unwilling to try hard things, and ultimately seeking security in your life outside of God, outside your relationship with Jesus, and trusting Him to navigate your life, it always leads to misery. And if you seek security in money, money becomes your God. And you're miserable. If you seek security in politics, like, politics becomes your God, and you'll be miserable because you're never going to control that. If you seek it in your house or in where you live, it all leads to misery. Because there's no such thing as security. So all that you're ever going to face is your lack of ability to control your life, and then that just breeds more fear, and the cycle repeats and repeats and repeats. And I think of my wife and I, we have friends that they've sought security. That's their life, and we actually know more than one couple who does this, but there's 2 couples that spring to mind very specifically. And both these couples, they're working jobs they don't particularly care for. At least in one case, the husband has a job he enjoys, but the wife hates her job. But she works every day, and she's missing out on all these things of her kid's life, and she hates it. But she's so afraid of not having the things they need to have, not keeping the house. And it's so sad. You see it on Facebook all the time. They're posting about how miserable they are and how hard life is. And Summer and I look at each other and we're like, this poor couple, they just don't take risks. They're just terrified. The husband by himself makes more money than Summer and I have ever made combined in our lives, and yet we are happier than them. We have a better life than them. We don't miss out on things with our kids, and we've made certain decisions that seem crazy to other people. We've moved a lot. We've switched a lot of jobs. Man, this guy's going slow. Good thing I'm talking to you guys. It's helping me avoid any road rage. See, I'm doing good. But they make that choice, and it's so sad because their combined income is probably 3 times what Summer and what I make. Summer doesn't work for money. She occasionally brings in some by writing or something, but she doesn't go to a job. And that's crazy because we don't have the problems they have. Now we have other problems, obviously. We're all working through stuff, but it's not, I don't know, our problems are things to overcome, to go after. They're not problems that are created because we're avoiding hard things. Not that that's never the case. There's absolutely times we fall into the trap of we don't want to do this, it's hard. And then once you build a habit of usually doing hard things, even when you avoid it for a while, you get to the point where you're like, well, I actually know why I'm miserable. I'm not doing this thing. And so you do it. And that's the beauty of it. It gets easier and easier once you step out and start taking risks in your life. And I just want to encourage all of you, it's worth it. Live the kind of life that on your deathbed, you won't look back and say, I wish I did this. I wish I did this. Do those things. Do them. Who cares? We're a vapor in the wind, man. Our life is short. And I don't believe in YOLO, you only live once, because you don't. We have a second life, a better life, but this one's building towards that. But at the same time, we're meant to live this life to the fullest too. Jesus said he came to give us abundant life, not a life of fear and anxiety and hiddenness. And no, he wants us to be out in the world doing this stuff. And so, be responsible, but follow your heart too, and do the deep-seated desires of your heart so that you don't have regrets. There's no point in having regrets. And I guarantee you, if you're walking with Jesus, even if you make mistakes, he'll steer you back. So don't live to avoid mistakes. Live passionately, live after him. And I'll tell you what, it's hard and it'll stretch you, but it'll also grow you, and you won't ever look back and say, I wish I did. Again, that's the worst feeling in the world. And I try to have that as little in my life as possible. And then when you do have it, you just got to forgive yourself and move on and receive his forgiveness and trust that he'll restore and make it well, because that's his promises. Anyways, that's all I got today, guys. Bless y'all.